As more powers have been unleashed by the few fighters left in the Tournament of Power, Jiren's mysterious strength has become even clearer. The truth lies in his meditation, his ability to read movements quickly, and the strange flashing in his eyes. Many people say Jiren has already mastered Ultra Instinct, but what points do they have to actually prove that? If Jiren even has Ultra Instinct, then is the rumor of him being the mortal, stronger than the god of destruction, really enough to say he's completely mastered it? Part 1 will give you the moments during the Tournament of Power that provide evidence that Jiren does have Ultra Instinct. Meditation is the act of focusing on one's mind. But why does Jiren do this so often? What benefit could that provide? Actually, there are 2 benefits to meditation. One is that it increases physical strength. How is that possible? Part 2 will give you proof that they've already shown this in the show before. For right now though, let's talk about the other benefit. The second benefit that Jiren gains through meditation is best explained by giving you a basic overview of how Goku and Vegeta's training to reach Super Saiyan Blue connects to what is required to also gain Ultra Instinct. Vegeta's body jumped at the sound of Whis' voice. He had been training too much to even know Whis had been meeting with Bulma for lunch on a regular basis. With one look at Vegeta, Whis observed the improvement in Vegeta's strength. Whis could tell this man was a hard worker. Therefore, he deserved a bit of good advice. It was clear that one of Vegeta's goals was to surpass the god of destruction if he wanted to even have a chance of beating Beerus. Whis suggested that Vegeta stop with the physical training. But there was one more thing that Whis could tell would get Vegeta's attention even better. Vegeta's eyes widened as Whis spoke the words of the answer he had been looking for since the day he came to Earth. Learn to control your ki, and you can surpass Goku. And as both Vegeta and Goku later learned, this concept was Whis' main goal throughout their entire training. Soon after first hearing what they would later learn was Ultra Instinct, Whis began the training that they would need to master such a technique. The 2 Saiyans were put into a space full of God energy. The strain on their bodies was too much for them to handle, but once they learned to focus on their inner selves and to control the energy within them, they were able to finally move. This same ki control was the very basics of their new form, Super Saiyan Blue, continuously increasing with this same type of training, in which they would focus on the energy within them rather than their physical strength, was the key to becoming stronger and gaining access to powers that only the strongest could achieve, Ultra Instinct. Now, remember what the definition of meditation is: the act of focusing on one's mind. This is why Jiren has always been shown training his mind and not his body. He's known since before the beginning of the Tournament of Power that becoming strong enough to rival the gods can only be achieved by focusing on your inner self, the first step to being able to achieve Ultra Instinct. But you've also seen characters such as Piccolo and Gohan using the same form of meditation that Jiren uses. What this says to you is that even though Jiren has shown to already know one of the fundamentals of awakening Ultra Instinct, meditation by itself doesn't prove he has it. It's only one of the 3 pieces to this puzzle. Whis' face lit up with excitement. The Grand Priest's eyebrows raised with curiosity. Toppo found his attacks ineffective as Goku dodged them and pushed them to the side. Not even Jiren, the rumored mortal stronger than the god of destruction, could land his attack as Goku twirled his body out of the way. Watching the man he had once easily defeated now approach his own level of strength, Beerus shook with anger as he said the 2 words that changed everything. This was the first time you ever heard the words Ultra Instinct, and by watching Goku dodge faster than ever before, you were shown the signature move of what this technique was. But even before the Tournament of Power had even started, Jiren had shown this classic move to you already. Goku felt a drop of sweat on his forehead. He was paying close attention to the fighters that he would be fighting in only a few short minutes. So how had he missed this? Jiren had flashed behind Goku without even a single movement being detected. Just how fast was this guy? But Jiren's quickness was about to be the least of Goku's questions. The gods of destruction, left to fix the tournament stage, decided they needed to pick up the pace. Pieces of the floor came swirling around the fighters. Goku quickly jumped out of the way, but to his surprise, Jiren didn't move a muscle. He simply closed his eyes as the pieces magically flew right by him. Goku's fears grew heavier. However, he couldn't help but smile. Jiren was a warrior that Goku knew would surely push his limits. As Goku stated in that moment, Jiren had read the movement of those blocks. But that wouldn't be the last time that Jiren would show this ability closely tied to Ultra Instinct. The time had finally come. Goku was forced to set aside his fears and face the ultimate enemy. Jiren stood before him. But the fight was much harder than Goku had imagined. Somehow, Jiren was dodging the most impossible of attacks. It was becoming clear that Jiren also had the second piece of this Ultra Instinct puzzle. Goku's body ended up being tossed around as if he had never fought before. But with the awakening of Ultra Instinct, he was sure the tables had turned. However, Goku was wrong. What had once been blocked by a single finger was now digging Jiren's feet into the ground. Goku had even managed to leave a mark on Jiren's face, an important important detail that Part 2 will later explain. The humongous gap between their power levels had significantly become much smaller, but as the fight continued, the sad truth became clear. Jiren still was far from using his full power, and as Jiren blew Goku's now weakened body away from him, we were left with these questions. How was Jiren able to keep up with an ability that Goku had once learned not even Beerus had mastered yet? Was it possible that Jiren also had this mysterious Ultra Instinct power? Could this be why he seemed to be the mortal stronger than the god of destruction? But then we learned that dodging wasn't the only thing Ultra Instinct was good for. Goku's fist started to shake. He threw his punch, but no one was there to take the blow. However, that didn't stop Kefla from being knocked back as the energy from Goku's attack reached from far away. But still, his attacks weren't even close to doing any damage. How could this be? If Goku had finally managed to make a mark on Jiren after only just awakening Ultra Instinct moments earlier, then why were his attacks doing practically nothing to Kefla? Whis explained that Goku hadn't yet learned to leave everything to instinct, including which attacks he was about to use. This concept changed the face of Ultra Instinct. It was no longer just a technique used for avoidance. Goku needed to apply the lesson he had learned in his training under Whis to his attacks. Do you remember what Whis' main lesson for Vegeta and Goku was? Controlling their energy. This was the concept that you learned earlier is crucial to learning Ultra Instinct. And if Jiren had learned this lesson long ago, as proven by his constant meditation, then wouldn't he be showing not only the ability to dodge, but also to attack while using Ultra Instinct? The answer is yes, and you've already seen him do this. The similarities between this moment and this moment are way too much to ignore. If Jiren has proven to show both the same dodging and attacking abilities as Goku has shown while using Ultra Instinct, then that should be enough to confirm that Jiren also has it. But if he really is the mortal stronger than the god of destruction, don't you think he would have mastered Ultra Instinct? Was this one scene alone really enough to prove that Jiren has figured out how to both dodge and attack with this technique, and therefore confirm that Jiren has completely mastered Ultra Instinct? No, it's not. There have been many times, even in the days of Dragon Ball Z, that fighters have learned to quickly and effectively dodge an enemy's attacks. The fact remains that you still don't know a lot about Jiren. Still not having much information on the power levels of the other universes, it's completely possible that quicker dodging abilities and much more power behind a punch than you've seen before could be the result of a universe that has way stronger beings than Goku and the others from Universe 7 had ever imagined. But thankfully, there have been other examples to show you Jiren has also learned to attack with Ultra Instinct. In fact, there are many. This is the third and final piece to put this puzzle together. Have you ever noticed something strange about Jiren's attacks? It's almost become a habit of his. This was the most confusing and mysterious detail about Jiren until this moment happened. That flash from Goku's eyes is something that you've seen Jiren do many times since the very beginning of the Tournament of Power. Jiren had already confused us all with his ability to dodge pieces of the stage that every other fighter, no matter how strong or fast they were, had to jump out of the way for in order to miss. But as Rabrana from Universe 2 approached Jiren, we were left confused even more. What was that shining in his eyes? Was it a reflection from the many attacks blowing up around him? Or was there a reason his eyes flashed orange, the same color as Rabrana? Another clue came when Universe 3 decided to uncover Jiren's secrets. Majikayo had snuck up on the 3 Universe 11 Pride Troopers, but Dispo had already heard him, and he jumped in Majikayo's way as he made his attempt to take Jiren down. But Dispo got cocky. He found himself trapped and terrified as Majikayo formed his body into a pair of giant scissors. Jiren had had enough. If these other universes wanted to see his powers so badly, then that's what he was going to give them. Yes, this was the same moment that you just learned was the first hint that Jiren was able to attack while using Ultra Instinct. But did you notice the blue color in his eye, the same as Majikayo's skin? Was it really just a coincidence that you had seen this twice? But here's why you didn't see this happen again. It wasn't simply the color of his opponent's skin that was showing up in his eyes. It was a representation of the inner being of the person he was fighting. The reason the writers chose to do the same color as the skin of Jiren's opponents, only the first 2 times you saw Jiren use this ability, was so that you could have a way to understand how his abilities work. While you now have many facts to confirm Jiren does have Ultra Instinct, there's still this question left behind. Has he completely mastered it? Well, why would that even be a question when you were just given proof that Jiren effectively uses dodging and attacking with Ultra Instinct because of this right here? This moment will be explained in part 2. For now, what you need to understand is that Whis' explanation for why Goku's attacks versus Kefla were ineffective is also a clue into understanding the extent to Jiren's Ultra Instinct abilities. Whis stated that learning to attack with Ultra Instinct was the hard part, and what that means is that one must train in a way that separates Ultra Instinct into 2 parts. Does this mean that dodging could be more suited to Goku, while attacking would be more suited to someone like Jiren?